Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I am Michael Hoyp. I'm joined by none other than Flint Espil. How's it going, Flint?
Hello, hello, hello. I'm back. Better late than never. Hi, everybody. Hope everyone's having a good night.
Now, people are just gonna want you to start a radio show just so you can do that intro, like with that
Was that
music and that. Yeah,
was it amped enough?
yeah. Well, I
I,
don't know.
I
I feel like the level of audio that I hear is different than the stream, so it was loud for me. But so
hopefully not too loud. I'm
I,
sorry.
it's okay. Um,
Oh no.
we are going to
Uh,
be focusing on our last match of the evening. It'll be Bryan Kowal against Bryan Manolakos. So the way we have set up, I guess I will bring up our standings. So where we're at right now is Mano is he's only played 5 matches because the match between he and Ryan didn't take place. And so if Mano wins the next 2 matches, so if he beats BK here and then plays Ryan and beats him, then he'll be 4-3 and will have better tiebreakers because I think he beat Tom head to head. And so that would allow Mano to jump into the 4th place. While currently Tom is in that 4th spot. So Tom is rightfully cheering against Mano for the next 2 matches, but Mano's still got a hope and a prayer, and he's looking to win 2 matches to continue on in the PSS. So let's look at the decks that BK and Mano have available to them. Okay, so BK has This Girl, The Rock, and Counter Parfait, and his This Girl deck has been banned, while Bryan Manolakos has Esper, Stiflenot, Sly, and Black Red Muse, and his Sly deck has been banned. So, all right, Flint, you can make a prediction now. So BK has The Rock and Counter Parfait as a choice, and then Mano has Esper, Stiflenot, and Black Red Muse. What are you think they're going to go to battle with?
Oh man. I think BK is gonna play his counter parfait deck, and I think Mana is gonna play the Esper Stiflenut deck.
Okay. So we'll jump over to the decks. And first up, we have BK, and he's going with The Rock. So
Oh, crikey.
Flint, Flint
That's
finally
my
missed.
second
Okay,
miss. No,
yeah.
I missed once last week. It's my
Yeah,
second.
so if you were watching it all of tonight, like BK kind of gave some insights about his rock list compared to Christian's and things that he liked. One of the things he did note was Mesmeric Fiend, specifically against Stiflenot, that he felt like having that card instead of Duress gives you a lot more options. Being able to take a Dreadnought really sets the Dreadnought decks back. So that might be part of the reason why he's going with the rock, thinking if Mano is going with that Stiflenot list, that is a card that he's gravitating to. And I mean, the rock has a decent matchup against a lot of decks, so get to play some games of Magic. So that might be the reasoning that BK chose this, and he will be up against. Oh, that is not. He banned Sly. I didn't update this. I was like, that was not what I intended. Let me adjust this. He is playing the Esper Stiflenot. So
All right.
um, let me. I wonder if I have it wrong on my next slide as well. I might need to update that. So let's get the deck list that Mano has. He has the Esper Stiflenot. All right. So now we're looking at this. Flint, do you want to talk about this deck?
So if you are just tuning in here in week 7, welcome. I know we've talked about it before, but just for a quick summary, it's looking to play the Dreadnought and Stifler Vision Charm it with the trigger on the stack. And this is a more well-rounded, I would say, version. It's a bit slower, but it has Meddling Mage, and so it can kind of take advantage of the biggest hate cards with Meddling Mage, with Cabal Therapy, and with Duress. So it's probably a more defensive version in a lot of ways, but can be a little slow. It's nice because it has the Enlightened Tutors for redundancy, whereas the green version uses Worldly Tutors, and the blue-black version has to resort to things like Limdual's Vault or Intuition, which can have some pretty big drawbacks. This isn't my favorite version of Esper Stiflenut, but I think Bryan brought it because he has the Meddling Mages in an open deck list format, which brings a pretty big advantage, and also Swords to Plowshares is a hell of a card.
Mm-hmm.
So it will be interesting to see how these two more mid-rangey versions of these decks clash with one another. and I'm excited to see who ends up on top.
All right, I'll jump down to the match if you want to let our players know that they can begin. Looking from their notes, it looks like Mano is on the play, and BK has mulliganed to 6 cards. We have a follow from Spy M4N. So welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining us. All right, so I guess you mentioned Meddling Mage, and I think one of the advantages for playing the Rock is you kind of have that redundancy, or at least like if a Meddling Mage comes down, you're either naming Pernicious Deed, which I guess is a very good card in this matchup, or like you're naming a card that Pernicious Deed would eventually take it out. So. All right, so Mano's going to start things off with a Portent after he fetches. So he's at 19. And I'm going to guess he's looking at his deck. I guess, well,
Probably.
I would say you might be able to figure out what your opponent's playing quicker if you look at the top 3 cards, but I guess it's pretty telling after the first card for like Meddling Mage and Kowal Therapy. But yeah, I think he'll figure out what BK's on. So important. He's still deciding whether he wants to keep the 3 cards or shuffle away for a new look at a random card.
Yeah, he's going to have a pretty good idea what BK is on. I mean, I guess the first land that he plays might, obfuscate that a little bit, but in general, let's see.
Yeah, I guess
there's only one forest in the counter parfait deck.
Yeah.
So unless he plays his only forest, which of course he does, but Birds of Paradise is going to give that away. So the jig is up.
I think it was funny that I think we've talked about like certain players talking about like trying to memorize the basics in certain people's lists when there were overlaps and be like, oh, that forest is not in your counter parfait deck, so I know you're on the Rock kind of thing.
As Patrick Chapin would say, that's next level magic.
Yes, some people, I mean, like, that's something I would do. Like, so, I don't know, it's the little things in life that's when you feel like everything's a game, and so, I don't know. I enjoy those aspects.
However you need to get your edge, Mike.
Yeah. I'll take it when I can, so.
Absolutely. Angle that camera down just a smidge. All right, so what do we got? Meddling Mage. Ooh, let's see if they put it in chat.
I think most of the time I would just name Deed, but I'm trying to think if there's different aspects that the card that BK has just played is a Mesmeric Fiend, so
Deed. It is Deed.
okay. Indeed.
Only the dirtiest and done dirt cheap.
Perfect. So the hand that the Mesmeric Fiend reveals is an Enlightened Tutor, a Duress, a Phyrexian Dreadnought, a Daze, and a Cabal Therapy. So looking at that, like, there is redundancy in the sense that, like, you take away the Dreadnought, there's still an Enlightened Tutor. So there was no enabler in the sense of, like, Vision Charm or Stifle. All right.
So to answer Gabe's question about creature removal, BK doesn't have a lot of creature removal in his deck. He has Deeds and he has 1 Bone Shredder, and I think that's it. So in general, sometimes that's the good play, but for this matchup, Deed really is the major creature removal.
I don't know how many does he have 2 copies of Engineered Plague? Obviously, that's not good against
He
the
does,
12,
yeah.
but like
probably not naming that.
Yeah. So the Duress took a Recurring Nightmare and shows a hand. I guess the Cabal. Oh, the Engineered Plague. What are you naming here? Do you name Human or Wizard?
Yes. Other runes? Human?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
just human.
Human makes sense.
Yeah.
The
Human.
There isn't that much like spot removal out of BK's list, so like the Mother of Runes isn't the best. anyways. But looks like Mano is he was at least thinking about days. I guess yeah, maybe this engineered plague hasn't resolved, but I'm just gonna ask if BK will slide his cards down because the glare is at the top.
We have ourselves a glare bear. We got quite a few viewers here. This is great. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I can't believe it's week 7.
Yeah, we've been cruising through all these weeks, and yeah, I was just saying like I'm excited to see who comes out champion, but like yeah, it's been a lot of fun for seeing all these players and all the decks that we have. Human has been named for engineered plague, so BK might be adjusting his light to try and help with the glare, but or he just wants to show off he's been working out his shoulders. I guess he's trying to show everyone.
So we're here for his shoulders, and Robin's here for our dulcet tones. Thank you, Robin.
I thought
Always a
Robin would be
pleasure.
here for people casting Cabal therapy. I think that's why he's here.
Yeah, he could have several reasons, but he chose to mention our dulcet tones.
All right.
So cheers, Robin. Skull.
Oh, I guess I should update the life totals. Not like the biggest factor of how this match is going to be played, but might come in, especially from BK's perspective of how quickly he can kill him. Robin says, I cast 10 Cabal therapies in 2 games in one of my matches this month.
I believe it.
Hmm?
That is one thing I do miss is the Cabal therapy in the blind. We don't see that a lot these days. The Showdown series has gotten soft, I think. Cabal therapies in the blind.
I was gonna say someone was just complaining about the abundance of Cabal therapies and meddling mages because of the open deck format. So all right, where are we at? So this the second engineer play came down. So it is able to get rid of the humans.
Wow. Okay. Well.
And now this little 1/1 is going to town. How ironic would it be if this Mesmeric Fiend deals a bunch of damage and wins the game because of that? I mean, like, Mano doesn't have a way to get... Or does he have swords in the main? I think they're in the sideboard.
Yeah, I think he has 2 in the main, right? Let me look.
Okay, all right. I'll say it. I wasn't sure if that Mesmeric Fiend basically has exiled the Dreadnought, but Treetop Village is going to fire up and attack for 4. So the clock is respectable here. It's a 3-turn clock that Mano's facing. We know about Enlightened Tutor, which could get a Phyrexian Dreadnought, and then Daze. So really the piece that he's looking for is a Vision Charm and Stifle, and that's typically the easier one to get because there's 8 copies of it.
He's got a full grip of cards here, too. I mean, and he's kind of showing off his hand. I don't know if you just saw that, but it's kind of easy to see his hand. I know he's got a Cabal therapy, and if we can see it, that means BK can see it.
I wasn't noticed, but I would think that BK would notify him if he's seeing it, but yeah.
Where's Mano currently? He's not at home, right?
No, I'm not exactly sure where he's at, but I know he's traveling, so I think Aaron was also not in his normal location. I think when we had the view of him and it was a big red background as compared to the guitars that we're used to seeing, that people might have noticed that people are moving out and about. All right, a Ravenous Bailoff has been added, so that is some real pressure. And if Mano's at... Oh no, he's at 9, not 6, sorry. It was just an attack for 1. The Treetop Village was used to cast the Ravenous Bailoff. But this next turn, I guess, would be an attack for 8, potentially. So Mano is going to use this Enlightened Tutor and put a Dreadnought on top. and he'll stifle the trigger. The thing is, so if he's at 7, let's say like BK has another Ravenous Baloth, then you have enough power on the board that the next turn after you're just able to attack and have a lethal attack regardless of what mana would block. And with BK he's at 17, that's enough to take a hit from a Dreadnought. So
He can also just comfortably cast and activate a deed here for 1 since mana's tapped out. Right, he has enough mana to cast a deed, pay for a daze, and activate for 1.
yes. So
Or just
BK
pass
adds
him.
a Treetop Village and then passes the turn. So would Treetop Village change? So if the next turn you'd attack for 7, so 2 Treetop Villages and a Mesmeric Fiend would get through, and then the Ravenous Baloth would block. So this is an onboard lethal, and like with the Birds of Paradise, he has enough mana
Yep.
to activate them both. So
Yep.
Mano in a tricky spot. And so, I mean, is there a downside for BK going for it? I can't think of cards, like, especially with the City of Brass. I mean, like, maybe Swords of Plowshares, but. Alright. So Mano will block the 4/4, and if he doesn't have an interaction piece, nope.
Thought maybe a swords, but scooping it up.
Yeah.
All right.
The first game goes to BK and the Rock. And I mean, I don't know if I'm just trying to build the storyline, but like the Mesmeric Fiend, I guess maybe the Mesmeric Fiend didn't matter as much there because he had the redundant Enlightened Tutor. It just took Mano a long time just to find a Stifle or a Vision Charm. I think that's really the biggest part. So, all right, let's look at sideboards and see if things change for these players. I would imagine that the Rock has some tools or cards that it can bring in. There are 2 copies of Diabolic Edict, 2 Engineered Plagues, 3 Naturalize, 1 Dust Bowl, 4 Withered Wretch, 1 Ravenous Baloth, 1 Thawing Glaciers, 1 Haunting Echoes. I'm definitely interested in the 3 Naturalize, and I think I would want the Diabolic Edicts.
I was thinking about that too. I mean, Mano certainly runs Meddling Mages and Mom, and so I think it just really just depends on how many cards BK wants to take out. But Naturalizes absolutely. What cards are coming out for BK, do you think?
I was gonna say Engineer Plague, unless his plan is to kill. I mean, obviously in that game, it worked out nicely that you're able to kill a meddling mage. I think that's not something you're planning on doing very often, but it's not unreasonable to keep it in for like a Mother of Ruins. I guess Deranged Hermit, though. I think we talked about this before that Deranged Hermit just on its own puts 9 toughness into play, and sometimes that might be enough just to block and soak up a bunch of damage and change kind of how the race goes. I don't know if you like.
You take out Bone Shredder and Plague Lord?
I mean, Bone Shredder is good against Meddling Mage at least, though.
Yeah.
But
What about Plague Lord?
yeah, it's slow. I mean, like I guess the only advantage is it is a decent way to fight like a Mother of Runes, but that's maybe not what you want your 5 mana spell to do.
Or maybe Plague comes out? I mean, 3 cards have got to go.
Yeah.
Let 3 go.
Yeah, I think I would. I mean, also Recurring Nightmare maybe is a card that like because how are your cards dying? They're usually like
one of them, probably one of them, right?
Yeah. I'm just like, how is Mano like? It's not like he's killing creatures, and if they are, it's going to be exiled with Swords of Plowshares. Yeah, I could see taking out some Recurring Nightmares as well, or just take out the expensive cards that like the Plague Lords and the Deranged Hermits, and just try and act on a lower, leaner curve. Because obviously, the Mano's deck is a lot quicker. So, let's pull up his list. He's got 3 Tormod's Crypts, a Mother of Runes, 2 Swords of Plowshares, 2 Chill, 3 Engineered Plague, a Seal of Removal, a Seal of Cleansing, a Daze, and a Winter Orb. I'm not sure what I want. I mean, maybe the Plows?
I like the Winter Orb.
Sure, that's fair. I mean, BK does have Birds and Wall of Roots, though, but... I mean, this is a deck that like does tap out to like cast Deranged Hermit, so it's pretty nice to have a Winter Orb there. And you do the Enlightened Tutors to get it, so... Are there underperformers in the main?
Um, I, huh, hmm, that's a good question. He's on the play. And he's got the 1 days. He probably keeps it in. Do you think Duress is an underperformer here? What do you think?
No, I think if you're expecting the naturalize, I think you're
You just keep
probably,
it in.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played this deck a lot. How many lands is he running? I'm trying to think about the portents. No, he's probably keeping the portents in play.
You could take a
I don't
Lotus
know.
Petals. I think Lotus Petals is a card I would take out. I think if you don't need it for the mana, like the games you expect to go a little bit longer, um, but that would probably be the first card I would take out. I don't know.
What are you
Check.
bringing in? Like one winter orb for a Lotus Petal? I mean, are these other cards really that good? I feel like if he's on the Swords game plan, he's kind of on the back foot to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I guess you could cut Seal of Removal. Like, what do you want
He
to
could,
bounce? I guess bouncing a Mesmeric Fiend is reasonable. I having well, yeah, I could see like Enlightening Tutor for a Seal of Removal to bounce a Dreadnought. Though I guess you could probably just get Dreadnought in that case anyway. So maybe
I
that.
might cut the Swords. I
Okay.
might cut the Swords. Chat, weigh in here. What would you cut if you're mana? What would you bring in? I'm genuinely curious. I don't think that I like the Swords in this matchup.
Well,
Um,
what are you excited about bringing in?
I like Winter Orb.
Yeah.
It's another target for a naturalize, and Rock is very mana dependent. Yeah, he's got birds and Wall of Roots. Maybe it's a moot point, but I think that's probably what I would do with no experience with the deck. And I like the Scylla cleansing as well because if you put that into play, it makes him really have to think about the mana that he needs to play a deed and have enough mana to sack it, even if it's just one for a dreadnought. But maybe
Okay.
that's bad. I don't know. I don't have any experience with this Espernaut deck. I think the only time I've ever played this deck is when you and I did our Gauntlet series way back in the day.
Was that an Esper one? I think it was. I think you just had blue white though.
I thought it was
No,
it
no,
blue white?
I had the blue white one against your lands deck, and all I
Okay.
needed to do was find Meddling Mage, and I like mulliganed to 4 or 3 because I couldn't find it, or the one time I did find it, I couldn't cast it. So
So to quote someone much earlier in the chat, I think it was Comical Flop, rather be lucky than good.
well, I just remember because that almost happened exactly like earlier on. Like BK played against Aaron Dix on Fluctuator, and BK just could not could not get his Meddling Mage, and that's exactly what I remember. Just this situation. All right, we're down in this game, and Mano is gonna not take anything slowly. He's gonna have a Lotus Petal, City of Brass, Phyrexian
Yes.
Dreadnought, and a Stifle. So
Ram jam that dreadnought into play. Here we go. That's a guaranteed 12 points. I
BK made
love
an
that.
0-1 though. So
He did.
this
He did. Followed up with a duress, and that might be game. Let's see what BK's got here.
a deed,
A
a deed to
naturalize.
naturalize. Okay.
Take that naturalize and GG's. That's it. Right?
Yes, because
Yeah, that's game. Unless he
well,
draws another naturalize, he's
or
done.
he could draw an edict. Um,
Sure.
so
Sure.
BK is gonna just slam this top card of the deck. Is he gonna do it?
Robin, I love the play on words there, by the way. Sorry, Mike.
Did I
Didn't mean to cut you
did
off.
you do it or did I say something?
No, Kevin said not
Oh,
doing not things.
okay. All right.
Oh, he's he's spent his mana. He's pulling a Gabe Nassif and putting his mana. Oh no, it's just for a Wall of Blossoms.
Uh, is there a 1 mana card? Well, okay, and no 5 toughness. He
Yeah,
can live his turn, right? Because
yeah.
if he double blocks,
Double block. Yeah.
he's gonna swords. Swords.
Okay, so sideboarding is out the window. I have no idea what Mano sideboarded. He kept the swords in. Let's see how this plays out.
He kept Lotus Petals in too, so it's not like I. But yeah, the Source Splashers where you can gain some 0 life, and I think I would have attacked first and made him block, and then have the swords.
Gotta swords them walls.
Yeah.
All day. All day.
All right, so in a quick, spectacular fashion, Mano equalizes. Yeah, that was that was displaying the power of the deck, where quick threat and duress, and then yeah.
All right. Well, we have an interesting match on our hands.
So
Who do you think's favored here?
I mean, I think BK has a. I think rock lists that I play have a few more cards like Vendetta or whatnot, and I think I would be a lot more comfortable if I had 2 or 3 copies of those spot removal spells. Though the Mesmeric Fiends do help a lot against like getting the Dreadnought. Though I mean, there's still like 8 copies of those. I don't know. I would say the Rock, but I'm not sure. I think, but I probably say that for everything. The one thing, like, so the sideboard and matchups, I think it's so hard as the Dreadnought deck because it's like in game one you can be really aggressive. You can mulligan and find a quick clock and say like I'm going to put this 12/12 on into play on turn one because a lot of decks are not set up to remove it in game one. Problem is when you're in sideboarded games, the opponents know what they're up against. They're going to have cards that they bring in that interact with it. It's just I feel like it's harder to mulligan to 5 and put all your eggs in that basket of playing an early 12/12 if they are just able to remove it and then you just don't have anything going on. And so that's where I feel like there's a really big tension in those sideboarded games of how aggressive do you want to be with putting out the Dreadnought. And so I like being a little bit more cautious and whatnot, and I don't know if that's good for the Dreadnought deck because I don't know if things actually get better.
So I think this is one of those things that separates you and me sometimes as a player, whereas sometimes you got to just go for it, right? And sometimes you have to just jam the Dreadnought and hope that they don't have it. Now, if really good players are mulliganing aggressively, on the opposite end of the table, then I might be a little more cautious, but I guess like you have to take advantages when you have them, and as the games go on with these quick decks, your advantages dwindle over time. And I think you are a much more cautious and probably a more calculated player than I am, but I am more likely to just be like, all right, like you better have it or you're going to lose the game outright. And
Yeah.
I think that that's exactly what Mano's philosophy is with at least the last game. But I'd love to see what he does. Um, oh no, what did Kevin what did Kevin Costarino say? Yeah, okay, all right, yeah. Well, that summarizes it better than I could. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, he said rock player, calculated thoughts about sequencing and sideboarding. Combo player, sometimes you just gotta go for it.
Hey,
Yo,
sometimes you got to just jam it, yo.
are you
It's
drinking
it's
orange juice on the rocks? Is that what you have?
this is bourbon. It's a
it,
little watered down from the ice.
it looks much oranger or yellowy. I think than maybe it is in person, but
Yeah, perhaps. Perhaps. No, it's the play and pray. It's not plug and pray. Pray. It's play and pray.
all right. So I think Mano's thinking about his hand. I think that's where we're at right now because it looks like BK with his hands or with his hand down. I think he's okay with his hand. He's not thinking about it. Which seat would you rather be in? If there's split games and BK gets to be on the play.
BK's actually. I think
Okay.
being on the play is actually really big here. He has discard and okay, well, there's discard. He has discard, but he also has mana ramp to get out a deed or whatever he needs. So,
So does Mano have? Oh, he has a swamp and a lotus petal as mana
oh, buddy named
sources.
Dreadnought.
Yeah, it's pretty typical, I think, with a
Yeah.
lot of the names. I could also see certain situations where you name a card like Duress, but I guess with Cobalt Therapy also, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if he needs to because he can just name whatever he would want to dress away, right?
Wait,
Oh my God, he just drew the Dreadnought. What a twist.
wow. And
Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, what a twist.
BK has a Thawing Glaciers as his second source, so there's not an immediate answer for it. I don't know if it's that it has to just be like that wouldn't be the land you play. I think Mano might just wow.
That might be the top deck of the series right there.
Yeah. I was saying I thought for a second there, I'm like, he didn't have one in his hand, right? Like, I don't know, that one was off the top. And yeah, there is a Cabal Therapy, and he names Naturalize. There is a Diabolic Edict, so a black source here is what BK needs off the top. Because Thawing
Well, it
Glaciers.
just is any source. He has a black source, right?
Oh, he
That's
has a black
swamp.
source. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh my God! Wow.
So the Thawing Glaciers is just a thorn in BK's side. Oh. And
Holy
yeah,
shit!
that Dreadnought just on top was just the perfect place to be, hiding from a Cabal Therapy and just being there. So Mano keeps things
God,
interesting. So
I probably kept a bad keep, and then I just did what this deck does in the games 2 and 3. I don't know. We can unmute them, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your guys' commentary on our play? There's a lot going on there.
I say that Dreadnought found the perfect place just to hang out. It was just right on top of your deck.
It's because he didn't. It's because he let me just choose middle on top, so I set it up perfect.
I would have hit the Dreadnought there too.
Is that what you named?
Go ahead.
Obviously.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. That was obviously the luckiest shit of all time.
I'm sorry to get irritated about it. It's okay.
No, you should.
We just said that was the top deck of the series.
Yeah. It could actually matter too. You know?
Seriously, yeah. That was the top deck of the series. That was
That's
crazy.
what's gonna knock me out.
I mean, I think if I don't draw it, really, I guess I had a little more time because you didn't have a lot going on in your hand mana-wise. But if I don't draw it there, or maybe one turn later, I'm just fucked. I can at least therapy you. I can get rid of all your shit, with those therapies if I'm not casting Dreadnought. But
I mean, if you don't draw another land, you can never cast a Dreadnought. Well, that's not true, but
well, I wouldn't have cast it, right? I would have just started therapying you with my swamp, with my 2 therapies, and cleared the way.
Yeah.
Maybe pedaled into that portent, maybe. Did you see that keep? What did you guys think of that keep?
But
it was Lotus Petal, Swamp, Enlightened Tutor, Portent,
Stifle, Therapy.
Yeah, I think that's solid. You have Disruption, you have Search for the other half of the combo.
But I don't have a blue land. Like, I'm gonna have to maybe blow this Petal to Portent at some point. Like,
the card you want, like a City of Brass from that spot, probably the most.
Yeah, clearly.
Mano, if I get the bird down, I'm therapying you again though, for your Stifle. Right?
On turn 2. Yeah, you're right.
Well, any turn after that. I mean, if I draw any land, I'm in really good shape. I don't think I can mulligan my hand either, but
so you had first turn Therapy and Glacier and Edict and Naturalize and Bird and some big stuff. Yeah, you can't mulligan them.
Yeah. I think my keep was fine, but yeah, it happens.
Yeah, that's definitely bad beats for you, BK, and an amazing top deck mana. But we've been talking. Obviously, you can watch the video later, but we talked about how sometimes the combo player just has to YOLO it and things work out, and it's one of those scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, I can't not YOLO it there, right? He just therapied me. Like, he knows everything else that's going on. I have to YOLO it there. Game 1, obviously it's safe to do because he has no mana, and I had it all. I'm sorry, game 2, I had it all. I had another Vision Charm for protection. I had a Swords. Like, he had no shot in game 2. It was irrelevant. Game 1, I think I kept a really loose hand, and I lost to his garbage draw. It was like embarrassing the shit he played and still beat me with. So I mean, I just got very lucky.
That's a good rock draw
in game 1 and still won the match.
How many points? How many points of damage did that Mesmeric Fiend deal? 6, 5? I don't know.
Yeah, a bunch.
Let the record.
That was
let the record show the game that the Mesmeric Fiend came down was not close.
That's what I said, but then I'm like, but he had an Enlightened Tutor in his hand, so he just couldn't find Stifle or Vision Charm, so that wasn't the Fiend. Like, I mean,
but he also kept tapping his
matchup. I can't remove it. I have 2 swords. I can't fucking do anything to it.
Yeah, if I ever draw a therapy, like I'm going after Enlightened Tutor.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He was tapped out the whole time, most of the time.
Okay.
I don't know.
How did you guys board? May I ask? Like, Because we were a little torn for you, Mano. Like for UBK, like we knew that Naturalize was coming in, but we didn't know what you're bringing out. And Mano, for you, we weren't sure which cards you were going to bring in.
I wasn't sure either. I didn't.
Hmm.
While I did at least look at what deck I was going to play because I was bringing one, I didn't even think about the sideboard plan at all. So I just did it on the fly right now. I don't love anything. The seal sucks. The extra mother sucks. The crypts, I was considering a single crypt. Chill obviously sucks. Winter Orb I was considering, did not go with because I've seen what he does in these long games with Recurring Nightmare. But I thought I'm probably not winning those games anyway, so who gives a shit? I just brought in 2 swords to potentially get rid of Fiends and slow him down. I cut the Miser's Days because I pretty much always do. And I cut 1 Enlightened Tutor because it just is slow and it sits around and it eventually gets there. It's just not the best card. And I wanted a little bit more action. I don't know. So those are my cuts. I don't know how you feel about them, but I didn't do much. I considered cutting a Mana Source as well, but I don't know. I wanted the explosiveness of those draws. I wanted the chance to be able to do what I did. So I didn't really want to cut like a Pedal or something.
Interesting. Okay. I haven't played the deck a whole lot, so I don't know what's right or wrong.
So it sounds
myself.
like you had a very different thought process. What were you thinking?
I like Winter Orb just to slow him down because it's a tap out deck and it brings another option in for removal with Naturalize, but I don't know if that's correct.
Yeah,
I like
considering
Enlightened
it for
Tutor
those
against.
reasons. Yes.
I like Enlightened Tutor against discard as well because you can fire it off in response to a discard spell and it's safe on top of your deck. But I don't know. I haven't played a lot of Espernaut.
Is he ever tutoring for the orb? I guess like the orbs still. I didn't even. I'll be honest. I missed the orb in his sideboard when I looked at his sideboard. So I didn't even think about it. But
I thought about the longest. And also the tiebreaker was I just kind of wanted a few more spells and a few less permanents to the point where I was considering cutting Mother of Runes even too, just because I don't want them randomly getting deeded away at some point. I didn't do that because I thought they were still good enough post board against his Naturalizes. And it keeps him a little bit honest, but maybe I shave a Mother of Runes too. I don't know. I think Days is out, and maybe Enlightened Tutor is the wrong cut. But either way, like there's not many cards I can cut. What could I possibly cut?
Yeah. You took Days out?
I
have 1 main deck Days. I cut that. That's the only like easy cut.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I think you cut the Days for sure.
But after that,
yeah.
Let's say you wanted to do that, Flint. Let's say you wanted Winter Orb and maybe it's just Winter Orb for Days and that's it.
Winter Orb for Days.
For DAYS and DAZE. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I took out my 2 Engineered Plagues and I took out 4 Wall of Roots.
Okay. Wall of
okay. Yeah. And I brought in 4 Naturalize or the 3 Naturalize, the 2 Diabolic Edicts, and wait, there has to be something else. 5, 6, 7, 8. And the extra Bailoff, I think.
So you keep in like the 5 drops, like the Deranged Hermit, but you're taking out the Wall of Roots?
Yeah. I don't know. To me, like
I guess
mana advantage.
Your plan is to answer the threat and then like kill him with.
Yeah, I just have to stop him from winning, right?
Yeah,
and I guess I just thought the wall was the weakest link in that, or like the card that least does that.
Yeah.
And BK,
I told Mano I thought for a long time about taking out the Thaw and putting in this Dust Bowl. Just because I didn't want it to, slow me down.
That exact scenario happened.
Yeah, the exact scenario. And then my opening draw, I had Thawing Glacier.
And you got full dagger. Don't you hate that? It's a one of, right? So it was that exact card swap, right?
Yeah.
Just to make you feel even worse about it. I hate that.
Yeah. I mean, you turn 1 me 2 times, so that's
exactly.
Cool. It's hard to.
Yeah, that was wild.
For any decks to beat.
And I still would have lost if you ripped a land. I still would have lost,
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Good games. Good luck in your next match with.
So that kind of segues into where Mano's at, that he still has another match to play against Ryan Grodzinski, so we're going to be playing that on Sunday at 8:30 Eastern AM. Is that correct, Mano?
Yeah.
Yep. And so we will be streaming that match, and that will determine whether Mano gets to the top 4. Because if you win, Mano, I think you jump over Tom Matelski. So
is BK in no matter what now?
I think so. I have to double check, but like from when I looked at it, I had him locked for top 4.
Okay. then I can feel less bad about what I just did.
But
Okay.
You don't have to feel bad about it. That's you built that deck to get those
To do
draws,
that,
right?
bad's the wrong word, but like, I'd
That's why,
rather not, have
yeah.
that. I don't actually feel bad. I feel good about it. I love turn
Uh,
one people. That's why I
no,
play
I
Magic.
don't feel bad about it either. Like I don't know.
Right. But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's a silver lining at least. Wow. So
I
this
bet
this
I
match
bet
really
you've run
matters.
badly at some point too, Mano.
What's that?
I bet you've run badly at some point too.
Oh, did you see my match against Aaron Dix when I should have destroyed that stupid zombie deck. I just drew
Yeah.
fucking 12 cards in a row and they were all lands and dresses with Arena out. It was embarrassing. So yeah.
yeah, so
But yes, I have run badly at some point, although not in my life. I mean, I'm a straight white male living in America who has a family that loves them and has a decent job and a sugar mama. Like, I'm clearly running super hot in life, so I can't really complain about anything.
Beautiful playmat,
Right. I go to Urza's
That is a
Chalice
nice
every year.
playmat.
Like, what more could I ask for?
Not every year,
That's a fair point.
but
The 1
hopefully
year Flint
next
goes.
year.
The 1 year Flint goes, I can't
Yeah.
quite swing it.
I
Well,
didn't know
Mano-
that. I didn't know that you guys didn't meet up at that. All right.
No, he wasn't there.
I know. I just had too much.
I'll see you there next year though, and I will see you, Mano, on Sunday afternoon.
Yes,
We'll
I'm going
meet
to
up
see
do
Flint
some
IRL
invasion
on
draft.
Sunday, where we're going to. I don't know if Flores and anybody else is watching this, but we're hopefully going to do an invasion draft and not just jam pre-modern games. We're going to play some proper Magic.
I'm bringing some prize packs too. So
Fuck, really? I'll bring some
shit
prize
online.
packs. I have some. I'll bring some stuff.
All right, good.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
BK, I'll see you in June in Wisconsin.
All right.
Yay. Awesome.
And maybe I'll see some of you next week. Great games, guys.
All right. So
Good
thanks,
games,
players. Well,
take care. GG's.
Yep. All right. Let's look at. I guess we just look at our standings because right now what we're looking at. So Aaron won his match, so now he is 6-1. He is the first seed. Rich lost, so he's 4-3, and BK lost. He's 4-3. Tom has won. He's 4-3, but I believe Tom lost to both BK and Rich, if I remember, or some combination. So I think if Mano wins his next match against Ryan Grodzinski, which will be played on Sunday, then I think he jumps to fourth. And so I think that's where we're at. Don't take my word. I might have calculated something wrong, but that's what we're looking at. So after all this, it's all going to come down to this last match, this delayed match, thanks to the hurricane that we had. But we will figure out our final fourth player on Sunday in the morning. So maybe the Europeans that maybe are watching this replay, you might be able to watch something live, and then we can figure out our top four, which we haven't decided exactly how or when we're going to play, but we'll have to figure out scheduling. But I think the semifinals will be next week, and then the finals will be played at a regular time on Thursday. Flint, do you want to talk about how the semifinals and finals are structured differently in terms of bans or the number of games?
Yeah, so the semifinals are going to be I think I don't have the list in front of me, but I think it's the same way we always play them, right? So it's going to be the best of 3 games, but the finals are different.
I don't know if I don't know if what we wrote, but I thought we were doing like a best of 5 for the semis, and then the finals.
Yeah. Best of 5 games. Yes. Yeah. So the semifinals will be best of 5 games. But the major change comes with the finals. So we'll play. Oh, thank you, Lord Magicus, with the rating party. Welcome. We're just talking about next week. So we just finished our preliminary 7 weeks, but for semifinals, which we'll figure out on Sunday, I guess. So tune in next week. We're going to do 2 matches, and players will use the same ban system where they ban a deck and then play the one of the 2 remaining decks, and then they'll play a match where it's best of 5 games. And then for the finals, what we're actually going to do is we'll use the same ban system. We'll do a best of 3. And after that, we'll do another best of 3 where players play the other non-banned deck. So players have to think a little bit about what deck they think is going to be banned, and then what that second match might look like when they have to play their other deck and their opponent has to play the other deck. And then if we play 2 matches and it's all tied up with 1-1, Then we'll go to a third and final decisive match where players have to play the banned decks against each other. So we could see 9 rounds essentially, or 9 games, let's say, of matches, or 9 games of Magic. So it can go quite long. And Mike, have we ever seen a third decisive match before where the band decks play each other? I don't know if we have.
I don't remember. My history of the PSS is clouded at this moment. I don't remember if we have.
I don't think we have. I think it's been 2-0 every time, but I could be wrong about that. But regardless, tune in because next week we'll have up to 5 games for 2 separate matches, and then we'll have a sensational final where we could see up to 9 games of Magic, depending on how things go.
All right. So I guess I'll move here. I will thank everyone who's able to tune in live and keep things fun with the chat. Thanks for all the support that we get. I have a lot of fun doing this, and I think from what I've heard, a lot of you have enjoyed seeing our players fight for that top 4 spot for their PSS glory. But we're having a lot of fun with this, and I want to thank everyone who's here to support us and enjoy it with us. Thank you, Flint, for being here and helping us out, and thank you for the other commentators who've been in the booth, and thanks for everyone's flexibility when we change things around to the last minute. But yeah, having a lot of fun and looking forward to how things wrap up with this PSS4 finals as we are closing in on a champion, crowning another champion. All right, Flint, what do you have to say?
Thanks everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to Martin Berlin and Premodern Magic as a whole. This has been a blast, and I'm glad we're still doing it.
All right. So again, we will be doing our next stream this Sunday, starting at 8:30 Eastern AM. And we'll have that match between Mano and Ryan Gardzitsky, where Mano's going to try and sneak into the top 4 with another win. So we will see you then. But until next time, take care.
Night, everybody.